My name is Karidas. I grew up in Pretoria in a township called Ekangala. I would say I'm an entrepreneur by circumstance. I grew up in a shack. Early on, realized that there's only so much my mom could do. So very quickly on, I learned, okay, if I wanted Christmas clothes, had to do a couple of things during the week. So the first thing I did was sell wire cars. High school, I sold sweets. Later in high school, I started a car wash, and I was fortunate enough to get into the Alan Gray Orbis Foundation scholarship. When I had the interview, I was just telling them about my life and my experience, and they saw an entrepreneurial sort of spirit in me. That was the first time they gave it a name. First year, Matt and I, my co-founder till today, we started our first business together because we just had that itch to do something, to change something. We wanted to build a business that was high impact. We wanted to dedicate our lives to something and we didn't know what that was. And Matt had the chance to go to Israel, came back, and he just couldn't stop talking about what they were doing in agriculture, where you got this country that's on a desert and they're just pumping, agriculture-wise. I wasn't interested, I'm not gonna lie to you. Agriculture looks boring, it looks brown, it looks like old people. It's just not very, exciting, but I'm a numbers guy. Close to 70% of all the remaining arable land in the world is in Africa. Close to 70% of everybody on this continent is dependent on agriculture for survival. But then we are net importers. We knew something was wrong. So we offered to work for some farmers for free, and the idea was to be a fly on the wall. We had this farmer, Daniel, he would sell his spinach to the fresh produce market, and that spinach would be bought for R3.50 at the market, and it would be sold for R10. We were like, how is this normal? They were like, it's how it is. That was the spark of the idea for Khula, to say, can't we get Daniel to supply straight? Here's a tool, everything you need. So if you need fertilizer, if you need an expert, if you need a water test, anything you need, it's like a superpower in their hand where they've got everything that they need. And from the market side, you can now supply a big retailer without needing a connection. The benefit of App of the Year, I don't think I can capture it enough. For a startup that is where we were, what you want is to get in the room because nobody wants to listen to you. That's when we got ABSA, our banking partner at the time. They're now a shareholder in the business. And we closed with AECI as well, one of the biggest agrochemical companies on the continent. Nothing changed from a business perspective per se. We're doing the same stuff, but now we're in the room. And for me, if I had to define the value of App of the Year, it was that. From my own life trajectory, Khula and business in general has changed my life. A couple of years ago, 2 years ago, I built a house for my mom. That was one of my biggest goals in life, to say one day I want this lady to have the best possible house, not just extending or anything like that. What's inspired me is how people have looked at my life from where I come from. And they go and they say, hey, this guy lived there, in that shack there. Surely I've got a chance.